Hello everyone. This lesson is about the polynomial division. So, polynomial division is, or algebraic division, is a mean of dividing polynomial terms or polynomial by another polynomial, and basically, usually it's like dividing by a linear factor, like x plus a. So when we divide, we always have something called the quotient, and sometimes we get a remainder. So for an example of polynomial division, using the same idea, if we have 25 divided, if we have here, 25 divided by 5 equals 5. So the quotient here is 5, but there is no remainder, because 5 times 5 is 25, so there is no remainder. But if we use the other example here, 25 divided by 2, then the answer is 12, and there's a remainder equals 1. So we say the quotient is 12, and the remainder is 1. So what we're going to do here, it's the same way when we divide numbers. Say we have an example for 3, 4, 6, 7, 2, so it's 34,672 divided by, let's say, 3. So we do the long division in this case. So we'll start with the 3. 3 divided by 3 is 1. 1 times the 3 is 3. We subtract, then that's 0. Then we put the 4 down here. Now we use the 4. When we say 4 divided by 3 is 1. 1 times the 3 is a 3. So we subtract remainder 1. Then we'll put the 6 down now. So now we have 16. 16 divided by 3 is 5. 5 times the 3 is 15. We subtract and remainder 1. Which number now we have? The 7. So that's 17 divided by 3 is 5 again. 5 times 3 is 15. So we subtract remainder 2. And then the last number here we have the 2. So now we have 22 divided by 3 is 7. 7 times 3, 21. And when we subtract, we have a remainder 1. So in this long division here, the one which I just did now, I would say the quotient here, the quotient is the 11,557, and the remainder is the 1, equals 1. So the quotient is the one here at the top. This is the quotient, so 11,557, and the remainder is the one here. Okay, so what we're going to do, we're going to use exactly same as this method, the long division, but we will use polynomial division. That means we're going to use a polynomial term, and we divide by a linear factor. So for an example here, if we look at this example here, like example y equals x cubed plus 4x squared plus x plus 4, and you divide it by another polynomial, which is like a linear factor here, is divided by x plus 1. So I will work this out and will show you how it's same, how we work it out, which is the same way as when you do the long division with the numbers. Okay, the difference here, it's like you have the polynomial terms. So I will write it down here. So we have y equals x cubed plus 4x squared plus x plus 4, and this is divided by x, sorry, x squared, no, sorry, I wrote different example. Okay, so y equals, it's this one here. Y equals x cubed plus 2x squared minus 3x plus 4 and divide this by x plus 3. So dividing by x plus 3. Okay, so to work this out, we'll write it down as a long division. So that's going to be a long division here. So I have x cubed plus 2x squared minus 3x plus 4 dividing by x plus 3. So I'll put the x plus 3 here. Okay, so now we will work it out. Okay, where we start from what they call the leading term, which is the x to the power of 3 here is the leading term. And when we divide, we use the leading term here, which is the x to the power of 3, dividing by the other leading term on the other side, which is the x here. Okay, so we will say x cubed divided by x, which is x squared. Yeah, so like x cubed divided by x, you get rid of this, so you will end up with x squared. So the answer, you write it down here at the top, so it's x squared. And now what we do, x squared times x, then plus times plus is plus, so plus 3 times x squared. So I'll write it down this way. So x squared times x is x cubed plus 3 times x squared, that's 3x squared. And now we'll subtract. Okay, when we subtract, so that's x cubed minus x cubed, it's cancel each other, so that's 0 here. Yeah, that will be 0. And then we have 2x squared. Now, because we are subtracting, we subtract. Yeah, that means basically this plus is going to become like minus, because we multiply by the minus of the because it's we are subtracting, so it's just going to become minus. So it means 2x squared minus 3x squared, which gives minus x squared. Yeah, it's like plus 2 minus 3 is minus 1 x squared, right? So now we finish from this. We need to put this down here. We need to put this term down. So this is going to be minus 3x. And now we again start with the leading term in this case, which is the minus x squared. The leading term now is the minus x squared. So minus x squared divided by x is minus, because minus divided by plus is minus, so that's why it's minus. Then x squared divided by x is x, so it's minus x basically here. Okay, it's minus x. Okay, now we multiply minus x by the yellow x here, so minus x times x is minus x squared. Then minus times plus, yeah, this green minus here at the top, multiplied by plus 3, so it's minus 3x. Okay, and now we subtract. So because we are subtracting, that means this sign is going to become positive, and this sign is going to become positive. Yeah, because it's minus times minus is going to be plus, and minus times minus is going to be plus. So now minus x squared plus x squared, so that's 0 here. Cancel each other. And on the next one here, we have, yeah, can you see my pointer? Yeah, minus 3x plus 3x is 0. Yeah, so I'll show you the work here as well. It somewhere should be. Okay, so minus 3x plus 3x, that's going to become 0 as well. And now we have the next term here, which is the 4. We put it down there, and it's going to be plus 4. Okay, so now we have the 4 here, and we don't have any x with it. So therefore, we can't carry on with the division. So in this case, we will say the answer here is, or the quotient is x squared minus x, and the remainder is 4. Yeah. So the quotient here is going to be okay. So the quotient equals x squared minus x, and the remainder equals 4. Okay, and this is, you can see it somewhere in these slides. What is that? Yeah, this is the example here. So this is the one here. Okay, so when you divide this by x plus 3, we got x squared minus x as a quotient, and r equals 4 is the remainder. Okay, so how can we write it? We can write it this way, as the quotient equals this and the remainder is that. Or also you can write it down as multiplication of these two terms. So we can write it down as x squared minus x, which is the quotient, multiplied by x plus 3, yeah, plus 4. Okay, because this is the remainder. If you think about it, if we are doing like 7 divided by 5, we will say the answer is 1 times 5, which is 5, then 2 remainder. So we can say 7 equals 1 times 5 plus 2. Yes, same thing. Or if we want another example, let's say 27 divided by 2. So 27 divided by 2, it's going to be 13 and the remainder 1. So it's going to be 13, yeah, and the remainder will be 1. So we can write 27 in this way as 13, the quotient, times the 2, which is the number we divided by, plus 1. So 13 times 2, that gives us 26, plus the 1, that will give us 27. So same thing, same idea, but we are using the polynomial here. So basically, this is the quotient here, and this is the number we divided by, the linear factor we divided by, and this is the remainder. This is r, the remainder. Okay, same thing. Right. Let's look at another example here. So yeah, I think this example here is what we have. Okay, so we have this example here, which is x cubed minus 4x squared minus 7x plus 10 divided by x plus 2. So same thing here. We will start with the leading term here, which is the x cubed. This is the leading, okay? And the other leading on the other side is this one here, the x, all right? Right. So if we highlight them, it's better. So that's the x cubed here, and the other leading, oops, I want this in yellow. It's the x here. All right, so let's start. X squared, yeah, so we say x cubed divided by x is x squared. So this is x squared times x is x, smaller. X squared times x is x cubed, then plus 2 times x squared, so it's a plus 2x squared. And now we subtract. So remember, when we subtract, if that was originally plus, then it's going to become minus. If this is a plus, it's going to become minus. And now we subtract. So x cubed at the top minus, yeah, x cubed at the bottom, so that's 0. And then minus 4x squared minus 2x squared is minus 6x squared. Right, so now we finished. We put this minus 7x down, so it becomes like minus 7x. And the leading term now, the leading term is the minus 6x squared. So minus 6x squared divided by x is minus 6x. Yeah, if you want to do it this way, to help you, minus 6x squared divided by x. This x can be cancelled with one of them here. So what we get, minus 6x. So it's minus 6x. Now you multiply minus 6x by this yellow x. That will give us minus 6x squared. So minus 6x squared. And then minus 6x times plus 2. Yeah, so minus times plus is minus. 6 times 2 is 12 and the x. So it's basically minus 6x times 2 is minus 12x. And now we subtract. So we subtract, then what we get here, as I said, because we subtract, just write it down, subtract, take away. So when we subtract, that means we change like the signs here. So minus 6x squared plus 6x squared, they will cancel each other. Therefore, there's going to be, oops, undo. There's going to be 0, right? Just like so. This becomes 0, and minus 7x plus 12. So minus plus is plus, and then minus 7 plus 12 is plus 5x. Okay, so finished from this. Now we get the next term to put it down, which is the 10. Okay, so now we put this 10 here. So this is going to be plus 10. And the leading term is the 5x. So again, the 5x divided by x. If you want any help, you can do it 5x divided by x. Basically, you end up with 5. So it's going to be plus 5 here because it's positive. So it's plus 5. Yeah, 5x divided by x is 5. And now we multiply this 5 at the top of it as a quotient. Multiply by the yellow x, which is 5x, and it's positive. And then plus times plus is plus, 5 times 2 is 10. And then we subtract, which means take away. And then when we subtract, this sign, it becomes minus, and this becomes minus. So it's going to be 0, and 10 minus 10 is 0. So there is no remainder. Actually, the remainder here is 0. There is no remainder. So in this case, the quotient is x squared minus 6x plus 5. Okay, this is the quotient. And you can see all the steps in the slides on the BLE. I just did it here in one page, but all these slides after that is step by step. So here they're saying leading term divided by the leading term, then we multiply answers by what they are dividing by here. So it's all the steps here until they get the answer, which is when you finish, is they finished here, 5x plus 10, it's here. So this is the slide when they finished. Okay, so x squared minus 6x plus 5, and the remainder equals 0, r 0. So the quotient is x squared minus 6x plus 5, and r equals 0, which is the remainder. Okay, here, this is the quotient, the remainder is 0, And we can write, how can we write it? You can write x cubed minus 4x squared minus 7x plus 10 as the multiplication of the quotient by the number we divide by. So this is the quotient, and this is the number we divided by, which is the x plus 2. Plus 0, this is the remainder. Okay, I hope this was clear. Okay. Right, there is another example here. I mean, all the examples is going to be similar, same thing. So you can go through these slides yourself if you want. I will do an example now. Another example, which is you can find as well from your book. I'll just go through it now with you. So the question is, it's saying x minus 2 is a factor of the cubic f of x, which is 2x cubed minus 5x minus 6. Used algebraic long division to write f of x as the product of a linear factor and a quadratic factor. So we have the equation. We want to write 2x cubed plus 4x and plus 3 divided by x minus 2. Okay, so as you can see here in this polynomial, we have 2x cubed plus 4x plus 3. We don't have the x squared. So the best thing to do is you write the term of the x squared, and the coefficient for it is going to be 0. So how to write this as a long division? I will put it as 2x cubed plus 0x squared, 0x squared plus 4x plus 3, yeah, divided by x minus 2. Divided by, x minus 2. Right? So again, we will start with the leading term here by the leading term there, which is the x. So 2x squared divided by x is 2x cubed divided by x is 2x squared. Yeah, and now we multiply 2x squared times this yellow x is 2x cubed. And then plus, so we have 2x squared times minus 2 is minus 4x squared. So you make sure to put this minus 4x squared under the 0x squared. And then we subtract. So when we subtract, these are going to become 0. And 0x squared minus 4x squared is going to be plus 4x squared. Yeah. So this is going to be become plus. So this is going to be plus 4x squared because it's minus 4, so it becomes plus 4x squared. And now we will put this term down. So it is plus 4x. And now the leading term here is 4x squared. So 4x squared divided by x. Yeah, 4x squared divided by x is 4x. So it's plus 4x. And then we multiply 4x times x. So 4x from the top here times this yellow x. So it's going to become 4x squared. And then 4x times minus 2 is minus 8x. and then we subtract. Yeah, easy takeaway. So when we subtract, that means the sign here, it was positive. So when we subtract, it's like 4x squared minus 4x squared, which is 0. So basically, this is like going to become negative, and this becomes positive. So this 0 here, and then 4x plus 8x, which is 12x. So plus 12x, and then we have the last term here, which is the 3. We'll put it down, so this is going to become plus 3. And now the leading term is the 12x divided by x. So how many x in the 12x is 12? So we write it down as plus 12. And now 12 times this yellow x is 12x, positive 12x. And then 12 times minus 2 is minus 24. And then we subtract. And when we subtract, as I said, it's like if you want to put it this way to help you. So the 12 minus 12, they will cancel each other, so that's 0. And then plus 3 plus 24, or plus 3 minus 24, which is plus 24, is plus 27. Okay, and that's it. So the quotient here is the 2x, the top here, the top number. So the quotient, I'm going to shade it in green. The quotient is this, 2x squared plus 4x plus 12. Yeah, and the remainder is the 27 at the bottom. Okay, so if we look, oh, actually this is an example from the book, not from the lecture here. So and what they ask here in this question, they said if x minus 2 is a factor, this is the factor here, which what we divided by, use algebraic long division, that's what we did here, to write f of x, which is the function, the cubic function, as the product, means multiplying, of a linear factor and a quadratic factor. So they want us to write, make this smaller. So they want, this is the basically example. This was an example, page 26 from your book. So it's chapter 2. Okay. So what they ask here in this question, they want you to write. They want you to write the cubic function, the 2x cubed plus 4x plus 3 as a product, like multiplication of the linear factor multiplication or a product of x minus 2, which is the linear factor here. This is linear factor, yeah, this one here, multiplied by the quadratic, which is the quotient, the 2x squared plus 4x plus 12. Yeah, so this is the quotient. Quotient. Okay, and it is the quadratic. Okay, and now what we can do, we can expand this quadratic, if we can. Well, actually, they just ask like this. If it's easy to expand, factorize it further, we can do this as 3 brackets. Okay. So for now, this is, they just asked us to write it down as a product of a linear factor and a quadratic. So this question, they asked us for a linear factor, which is x minus 2, multiplied by a quadratic. So because they said it's quadratic, that means it should be x squared, which is this one. So we don't need to factorize this further. Okay, that was, as I said, an example from the book, page 26. I hope that was that is clear for you. Okay, I will do question 18, page 28. Yeah, I'll do question 18, page 28. Question 18, page 28, chapter 2. Okay, the question here saying use long division to divide the cubic below. Well, I'm going to write. In each case, state the quotient and the remainder. Okay, so I will do a question 18a for you. So the question is saying x cubed minus x squared minus 3x plus 3 divided by x plus 3. Okay, so first as a long division, so I will write it down here. X cubed minus x squared minus 3x. We have all the terms here. We don't have anything missing. So we don't need to put 0 something, 0x or 0x squared, divided by x plus 3. So the leading term is x cubed, and the leading term on the other side is the x here. So x cubed divided by x is x squared. Okay, and now we multiply. So x squared times x, the blue x is x cubed, and then plus 3 times x squared, which is 3x squared. And now we subtract. So when we subtract, it's like we are changing the signs for these, yeah, because minus minus or minus times plus is minus. So this will cancel each other and become 0 here. And then minus x squared minus 3x squared is going to be minus 4x squared. So this is minus 4x squared. And then we put this term down. So this minus 3x, just put it down now. And the leading term is the minus 4x squared. So minus 4x squared divided by x is minus 4x, minus 4x. As I said, if you find it a bit difficult for you, do it this way here, aside, to help you. So minus 4x squared divided by x, it's minus 4x, and you put it at the top of your long division. Minus 4x times x is minus 4x squared. Minus times plus is minus 3 times 4x is 12x. Okay, and now we subtract again, minus, and we change these signs just for you to remember. So minus 4x squared plus 4x squared, they will cancel each other, so that's 0. And then we have minus 3x plus 12x, which is plus 9x. And then what's left for us is this term here, which is the 3. So this is going to be plus 3. The leading term is the plus 9x. And 9x divided by x is 9 plus 9, yeah? Because positive divided by positive is positive, so 9x. We want to do it this way. 9x divided by x equals 9, so plus 9 there. And 9 times x is 9x, and plus times plus 9 times 3, 27. And subtract. So when you subtract, this is going to become minus, and this is minus. So this is going to become 0. Minus 9 plus 9 is 0. And then 3 minus 27 is minus 24. Okay, so we can say here, they just ask us to write the quotient and the remainder. So we can write the quotient. The quotient equals x squared minus 4x and plus 9. And the remainder equals minus 24. The other way you can write it down as well is we can write the term itself, the cubic term, x cubed minus x squared minus 3x plus 3 equals x squared minus 4x plus 9 multiplied by the linear factor, which is x plus 3, and we have the remainder minus 24. Okay, we can write it this way. And if we've been asked to factorize more, we can factorize this further as well, if we ask to do that. Okay, I hope this is clear for you, and you have some example here in the slides. If you look at them, there are too many examples, questions for you, and the solution for them. If you just follow them and see if you can follow up this method and find the correct answer for them. And the good thing is, like, you have the solution for these questions, so you can practice it yourself and check your answer. And also, there are too many questions in the book as well. If you want to practice, and you check your answer at the back of your book. So there is exercise 4.5, question 1. You can practice A, B, C, D. Exercise 4.1. Okay. So if you want to practice, you have exercise 4.5, page 26. You can do question 1, A, B, C, D. And also there is on the review exercise, page 28. Oh, there are more other questions. I'll just saying that if you want to practice these, page 28. So that's the end of this video. I hope it's useful for you and you understand. And just try to follow the steps. And if you already know how to do the long division with numbers, then it's going to be very easy for you, because it's exactly the same method. The only difference here, you are using the polynomial terms to work it out. Okay, thank you very much, and see you in another video.